to me, it isn't necessarily COVID-19 virus. It's COVID-19 pounds. What I mean by that is, boy, I'll tell you what, through this COVID time, I'm thinking, where did all this weight come from? I'm serious. I changed it to COVID-19 pounds, because I'm thinking, this thing happened to me when I wasn't looking. Are you kidding me? I was going through my closet today trying to find some clothes that will fit me. I don't know about you, but I've got fat clothes and skinny clothes. You know, you got to hang on to both of them. It's not it's not enough for you just to hold on to one. But man, I'll tell you what, I turned around and I thought, I don't remember eating this much. And I don't know if it's the fact that we've all been so closed in or what happened. Just a combination of everything. We're just eating more and moving less. But, wow, I just turned around and suddenly I've started putting on weight. Maybe that's not ever a problem for you, but it's just something that, I try to keep myself at least closed into the clothes that I'm wanting to wear. It's kind of how I measure things is not as much on the scales as it is on the clothes. And then I got on the scales and I thought, you got to be kidding me. I mean, where in the world did this come from? But anyway, that, yeah, good home cooking, something like that. As my dad used to say, I think it was something I ate. This happened while we weren't looking, while I wasn't looking, and I just got to thinking about it. I thought, that's kind of how we lose ground in almost every area, isn't it? It's like we're going through our life, not paying attention, and suddenly, I'm just telling you something, in a moment of time, boom, we picked up something we wasn't counting on or whatever the case is. But the reality is that life is in movement. I mean, all the time, life is in movement. And you either direct it or it directs you. If you, just simply because you're not paying attention does not mean that it's not going to hit you. I'm just telling you, just simply because you're not watching doesn't mean that life doesn't move on without you. And I think that that's something that is so important for you to realize is that you have to prepare your heart for the things that are happening in life. You can't just let it grow. You can't, somebody, I think it was Doris Day way back in the 60s, she used to sing, Que sera, sera, whatever will be. And people have adapted to that philosophy of life. And as a result, things just grew completely. That's not the way life is. You want whatever will be. Go out and look at the weeds in your yard. That's whatever will be. And if you just let things go, I'm just telling you something, it will get out of control to the point that you can't get it back. I mean, sometimes we can go out and we can take care of things and cut this back and cut that back. But most of the time, when you just let life move forward without your attention, it moves forward. It moves out of your control. And I think that's why it's so important that you really set your heart to take control of your weight, your attention, your focus, your activities. Like I said, during this COVID time, we've just moved less, and it just seems like all of life has just been completely shut down. And when they eat, I mean, good gracious, what an amazing time to veg. You go in and you get a series. And you begin to veg on whatever is just handy. It's just what I call grazing. And, after about 4, 5, 6 months of that, you don't realize, but it starts creeping up on you. And suddenly, I can't button my pants. I mean, are you serious? This thing has just gotten out of control. But that's the way life works. Life will begin to take off and leave you if you don't take control of it. See, I've used the phrase before concerning time. You can invest your time or you can spend it. too often what we do is we just kind of spend it and we just let it go, and it moves without us. I mean, literally, life is in motion, and it's in movement all the time. Life is in movement. Things are changing constantly. The question is, how much are you in control of your life, or how much are you being controlled in life? It's almost like a boat out on the ocean. Quite frankly, you wouldn't think with the power of the ocean. I don't know if you've ever just looked at the ocean, how powerful, incredibly powerful that is. But even when a storm is blowing, or you've got a gale that's coming from one direction to the other, the fact is if you have a sail, you can direct your destiny even when the winds are against you. You see, there's no saying. It's not the gale, which is about a 19-20 mile an hour wind. It's not the gale, but rather the sail that determines the direction that you take. But the fact is if you just pull that sail down and just let her run, buddy, I'm just telling you something. It'll take you places that you didn't even think of going. Wherever the tide's going, that's where you're going. Wherever the wind's blowing, that's where you're going. And how many people do you know that that's the way their life is? Literally, whatever's happening, it blows them to the left, they go to the left. It blows them to the right, they go to the right. And the result is the fact that they're up, they're like a roller coaster. But your life is more important than that. Who you are and the things that God has given you is more important than that. And it's very important that you have that sail up in your life. Maybe with your plans, your ideas. I was looking over my bucket list. I have a bucket list. I think one of these days I'd like to talk to you about kind of what I've done with my bucket list. I had a bucket list way back before the movie Bucket List came out. And it was one of those things that just grew because along with a bucket list, I was wanting to better my life when I started putting the bucket list together. And the result is that when I started, handling that, I started coming up with my goals. I started coming up with definitions and things that would describe where I was, what I wanted to become, things that I wanted to accomplish. I began to write in there to the point that little bucket list grew into about 30 pages. But a lot of that was just in personal and self-identification. But I think that's something that you need because it really becomes kind of a sail for your life. You need to write down what you want to accomplish. It's kind of strange. Once you begin to put it on paper, once you commit to it, where you're talking about it and you're looking at it and you begin to write it down, it's like it begins to set that in motion in your life. See, a lot of times it can be inside you, but it's never set in motion until you say it. It's never set in motion until you write it down. It's never set in motion until you actually do something that makes a commitment to get it outside your heart. And it is important because there's a lot of things that's in your heart because your heart, we've been talking about this over the last couple of weeks, your heart is the creative center of who you are. It is so powerful. That is where your imagination begins to birth things that didn't exist. The spirit of man, it isn't just a thing of my intellect, because the mind, the will, and the emotions will work basically on knowledge that you have. But the creativity, the create something that never existed before, the imagination, that is more a product of your spirit man than just your soulish man, because you're creating something that doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. That's what God did. God created the worlds out of things that didn't exist. And that's the part of God that we are like in such a powerful way, is the ability to imagine, the creative part of our life. And unfortunately, many people never utilize that. If you don't begin to write down the things that you have. Well, let me just back up just a little bit. What you can do, first of all, is you can pray about it, but there will be things in your heart that actually are plans from God. The Bible said the preparations in the heart of man and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. Now, if you couple that with the scripture that says, delight yourself in the Lord and he'll give you the desires of your heart, what that means is you delight yourself in the Lord and he'll put the desires in your heart that leads you in the direction that he has for you. And thus then you have that scripture that says the preparations in the heart of man and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. God puts things in your heart. So a lot of passions that you have, dreams that you have, those things are actually designed to move you forward, where you begin to dream, think outside the box. You begin to look outside the box. I mean, it's so powerful. There are some of you that have had dreams and you just kind of pass it off to think, oh, that's just nothing. Or, oh, everybody thinks that. Well, actually, that's not true. That's something that is specifically in you. Ideas, inventions, things that you're supposed to do. You need to listen to your heart and then let your heart begin to become the sail for your life. The plan for your life. Begin to write things down. I want to just encourage you. Matter of fact, just while I'm right here in this spot, I just want to encourage you right now to sit down and make some plans for the rest of this year. Do not you've got a couple of months left in this year. Don't let the next 2 months just slip by without your permission, without your acknowledgement. Don't let the next 2 months happen in your life without your involvement and your setting the sail to the direction that your life is taking. Make a couple of plans. Plan to do something. Plan to reach out. I'm telling you, we're coming, of course, the fall is the most wonderful time of the year to me. But boy, I'll tell you what, it seemed today like the fall fell and suddenly we went right into winter. I'm telling you, I cannot believe those. I heard that you guys up in the Oklahoma area and up even north of that, you guys are getting hit with a lot of ice. Cannot believe that. Well, it just shows you that one season is over and we're blowing through the next season in a hurry. But I just want to say, don't let that happen to you without you taking control of it. Set some plans for your day. Set some plans for the week. And set some plans that says, before this year is out, I'm going to accomplish this, or I'm going to get this started in my life. Maybe it was a book that you're needing to write, or a song that you're needing to record, or something. I mean, there's whatever's on the inside of you. I've given words of instruction to people that were, getting older, and I said, don't die full. In other words, you get everything out of you that is in you. All of the dreams. Don't you dare die with dreams in your heart. Get them out of your heart and get them on the table. Get them out where you can look at them. Get them out where you can set them in motion. Because it's as you set things together in your heart and you begin to declare it and you begin to speak it, suddenly resources will be drawn to you. Opportunity will be drawn to you. People will be drawn to you. You understand what I'm saying? And I tell you, I really believe this is something for you. Yeah, Shelley, I can really believe that you said I've got a book I need to finish that I've started. There's several of you right now that are listening to me that I really believe you've started things and you didn't finish them. What a wonderful time for you to sit down and get it back on track. Again, I want to say what I said to you a while ago is the fact that life is in motion. And, you cannot afford to let life go without your permission. Things will happen without you looking. I used the example ago concerning weight, is the fact that I turned around and suddenly I was putting on weight, and I'm thinking, man, I didn't know it. I didn't realize it. I didn't feel it until I started trying to put clothes on. And so I'm moving clothes from one closet to the other right now, just So these are the clothes I can't wear anymore. Let me see. Where's the ones I can wear? And I'm thinking, how did that happen? Well, life is in movement all the time. And you either direct it or you get directed by it. And, you can say, I love God all you want. But this is your stewardship, baby. You're the one going to have to take charge of your circumstances. You are. You otherwise what will end up happening, you'll live your life having never initiated anything in life. You're literally being tossed to this side, to that side. You might say, well, I wasn't, born with a silver spoon. Well, I don't even know anybody that's born with a silver spoon. Let me just tell you something. My attitude about it, I'm not waiting for my ship to come in. I'm going out and getting it. That's how life works. I mean, it just is. You're going to have to, if you want something to happen, you're going to have to go make it happen. And you don't need to be a victim. I was born on the wrong side of the tracks. I was born without the education. I was born in the wrong family. Well, who the heck wasn't? The bottom line is we've all got challenges we face. The choice is yours as to what you're going to do with that. Again, you either direct it or it directs you. And that's the bottom line. You want something more in life? You're going to do more. You want something more in ministry? You're going to have to do more. And a lot of that, can I just say this real quickly? And I won't hold you but just another couple of minutes. But there's a lot of you that's been doing the same thing for so long that you don't even look to see if it works anymore. I've gone in some places and it was like going back in time. They're doing the exact same thing that they were doing 20 years ago. They've got the same hairstyle. They've got the same clothes, the same walk. They're telling the same stories. Everything is the same as it was. Has nothing new happened? But the fact is, again, this goes right back to the point, is the fact that we get in such a rut, we're not even looking anymore. We're so satisfied with the rut that we're in that we don't even realize anymore that it's a rut. We just call that rut normal. Well, everybody should have that. But there's more to you than that. There's more to you than what you're doing right now. I'm just telling you, some of you are called into business. Some of you are called into ministry. Things have changed. In church, I'm just telling you right now, I've been in ministry for a long, long time. And I'm just telling you something. I have watched change take place in the church movement. And I saw the church world changing, and I saw ministers not changing. And their church remained irrelevant as far as effect. I remember back in the early 80s when computers really started being used. And of course, that almost sounds funny now to even say it. And I know some of you maybe that aren't quite as old, you kind of with tongue in cheek listen to me. But the fact is, I remember when nobody had computers, really. And once it started happening in the church and they had to have them for their offices, they were using them in services, I literally heard pastors say to me, I'm not going that direction. I'm not comfortable with it. I can't do it. They were saying, I'm not going to get a computer. Like I said, it almost just sounds funny to me now. But you know what? They quickly become a dinosaur. They quickly fall behind. And I know people say, well, God doesn't change. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He's always the same. But life is in movement all the time. And if you don't understand that, your ministry, your business, even your hairstyle will fall behind. I remember I was in Lexington, Oklahoma. It was Joseph Harp Prison. And it was such an interesting thing because I remember that the guys that had been in there for a long time, some of the greatest guys I ever met was serving life sentences in that prison. But I remember they'd ask them what they wanted. Now, this was back up into the 80s, and they'd ask them what they wanted. It's, it was going to get them some clothes or whatever. And they said, we'd like to have some bell-bottom pants. And I thought, I can tell you about what years you went in. Because a lot of people, when they go in prison, they stop advancing. They only stick with what they know. You understand what I'm saying? They only stick with what they know, and the result is that they don't progress. Now, I can tell when a lot of churches, and I'll just use churches as an example, when they basically went into prison because they stopped progressing. They're still singing the same songs, wearing the same egg-stained dress, same hairdo that they used to wear. And I'm not trying to just talk about somebody having a funny hairdo, but I remember back when I was a little kid, they used to pull their hair up in a tight knot, and I mean, very long, beautiful hair, but they would pull it up into such a tight ball, and on top of their head, we used to call it the Tower of Power. Oh Lord. But that's what we used to call it, and it looked like something from the 40s or the 50s. They didn't change. Hairstyles change. Do any of you remember the mullet? I mean, do you guys remember the Farrah Fawcett look? Do you remember some of the old things, the hairstyles that look so perfect and so wonderful? And now you look back at them and just laugh and think, I cannot believe I wore that hairstyle. I mean, stop and think about it. I mean, it is so crazy how we get stuck in time and we stop being relevant. And so the thing is that I wanted to just tell you, and again, back to my original point concerning the COVID-19 pounds that happened when I wasn't looking. All the things in life that seem to go wrong happen when we're not looking. You've got to stay on top of this for your life. You're going to have to pay attention. Whatever you don't pay attention to, I'm just telling, even your kids, you don't pay attention to your kids, you turn around about 3 times and they're about a foot taller than they were last week. You're thinking, when did this happen? So, come on. Life is in movement, and you're either going to direct it or it's going to direct you. And that's just the bottom line. So take control. Make some plans. Get you a bucket list. Make some plans. Take my challenge, if you wouldn't mind. Take my challenge and get some plans for this year. You've got 2 months. Make some plans for this year. And see if you can't do a little bit of goal setting and watch that stewardship aspect of your life just begin to develop. All right, I've stayed long enough with you guys. My internet froze up there for a few minutes, and so I lost you. But thank you for sticking with me, Kirsten. I love you so much. Deborah, thank you for coming, and Freddie, thank you for being a part of this. Appreciate you guys so very much. If you wouldn't mind, please push like. See, that would keep from hurting my feelings, wouldn't it? Oh, push like, please push share, and got a couple of things you can do. Go to my website. It's jerryedmon.com, or you can go to my YouTube channel. Got a lot of things on there that I think will be just a benefit and an encouragement. Hi, Glenda. So, hey, join with me as much as you can. I'm going to be back tomorrow. And so until then, I want you guys to have a great, great evening. Hey, listen, thank you for being my friend. Thank you that's a friendship. It's something I treasure, and I really mean that. All right. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.